1310 WICH with Fishing Today. Whether it's in the ocean, on the pond, in the stream, or off the dock, it's all about fishing. Let's join Jesse Roach with Fishing Today on 1310 WICH.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Fishing Today with me, Rick Joseph, on the other side of the glass. Good morning.
Good morning, Jesse. Good to see you this week.
You too.
Looking forward to a good show, a fishing show today.
Yeah, we're fishing in the dark today.
Oh, good.
Fishing in the dark, talking about
That's
species that might bite at night, when the day bite drops off and people might get out of work late and want to go fishing in the dark. So we'll talk about some of those species. And we're also going to have Eric Harrison. He is a Hobie angler, also with Hobie Baits, and he is a writer for On the Water magazine, does a monthly column about kayak fishing, and he's going to join us a little later on to talk about striper fishing at night, which is very exciting. I went to a seminar and saw him, and it was like leaving a rock concert. I was so pumped. I went out and fished immediately with the new knowledge that I gained from him. So a very smart guy to hear from. And then Shawn Barham, and he is with Boat Locker, and he is also Hobie Top Gunner, and he's going to have a seminar coming up next weekend talking about blackfishing, and he's going to join us to preview that. So without further ado, let's get to some news and weather.
All right, sounds good. A survey to determine the locations of documented and reported historic shipwrecks is planned for April, May, and June in discrete near-shore waters near Stamford, Bridgeport, and New London, using towed side scan sonar. The survey schedule is as follows. New London area from April 18th through April 29th. Bridgeport area April 25th through May 6th. Then Stamford area May 16 through May 27. And again May 23rd through June 3rd. To avoid entanglement, fishermen fishing fixed gear, lobster pots and the like, urged to remove that gear in the areas indicated during the periods identified above. And this work will be performed from two small University of Rhode Island research vessels, a 30-foot pontoon-style vessel, gray with blue canvas, and RV Shawn Rose, blue hull, white superstructure. Please contact URI Graduate School of Oceanography Professor Dr. John King if you have any questions concerning this activity. His number is 401-874-6182. Again, area code 401-874-6182. And the marine forecast, small craft advisory in effect until 6 o'clock this evening. We're expecting the winds to pick up a little bit today. An offshore storm bringing a few clouds and a breeze in our direction. But seas at 2 to 3 feet for today, tonight, and tomorrow. Northeast winds 10 to 15 knots today, gusts up to 25 knots. Those seas at 2 to 3 feet for today. Northeast winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts up to 20 knots tonight, becoming northerly at 5 to 10 knots after midnight, and seas at 2 to 3 feet. And then that north wind for Sunday, 5 to 10 knots, becoming northeasterly in the afternoon, and seas 2 to 3 feet for tomorrow. And then a little calmer on tomorrow night, and south wind around 5 knots, becoming westerly after midnight, and seas at 1 to 2 feet. Yeah, and that's the marine forecast.
All right, yeah, we're in a high-pressure system right now, some nice weather, but it is going to be breezy, especially here in eastern Connecticut. So if you're out there fishing for the blackfish, it might be a little difficult to stay in place and remember your anchors. So night fishing. Fishing in the dark. Well, there's a few species that are conducive of that, and one being stripers for salt water. I've had some personal experience with white perch biting at night on some jigs, and but really the freshwater bite is where you find the night bite with the walleye. And there's a walleye stocking program here in Connecticut, and there is plenty of opportunity to go catch some pretty big walleye, and that is in the evening. You find some ledges with your fish finder, and pay attention to getting to the bottom, and that's a good way for the walleye. Also, catfish, another good one, and we have a channel cat stocking program here in the state too. So get yourself a tub of liver from your grocery store, treble hook, and set that at the bottom, and hopefully you get a nice fight from a catfish. And largemouth bass, another good one, especially if you have like a hula popper or a topwater. It's a lot of fun and a big splash, and you usually get a pretty big fish at that. We're going to talk a little bit more about the night bite with Eric Harrison on the stripers and how to get out there, whether a boat or kayak, and try your luck at some stripers as they're coming up. And the striper migration map is posted on our Facebook page, Fishing on today on WICH, and then you can check out, it's through On the Water magazine, and you can see where the stripers are through the surveys and how close they are for us getting the big ones, which will be coming up. Well, seminars are upon us, and next week we're going to have Matt Brown talking about his live lining seminar that's going to be at Three Bells Marina. And this week we have Shawn Barham, and he's doing a seminar next weekend, and that's at Boat Locker down in Bridgeport. With me now is Shawn Barham on the water, getting it done as we speak. And he's a Hobie top gunner and also with Boat Locker, and that's 706 Howard Ave. And you might want to write that address down because Shawn is here to talk about a great event that they have going on, and that is the 24th. That's next weekend, and it starts at 11:30 a.m. Shawn, welcome to the show.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Hey, you got it, man. And we're definitely in this business here on the radio show to get people learning how to get excited about catching fish and how to be successful at it. And you have an event doing just that, right?
Yes, sir. I'll be covering tactics of catching tautog or blackfish. I had a kayak, things you could do, a couple of tricks I've learned over the last few seasons I've been doing it, what baits to use, what time to do it. So basically, I just, be sharing a little bit of knowledge to get people out there and have a little bit of success catching these fish.
Especially now in April, because the April season, well, last year, of course, was really tough with the ice and with the cold weather. But now the sound is approaching 50 degrees. So people should get some luck sooner or later here with the blackfish bite. And what do you think? What does someone need to do to prepare to go out there for the blackfish? What do you want to go out there with?
Well, basically, I like to use like real simple rigs. I really like the jigs. If I'm not using a jig, I like just to use a high-low rig, one weight, one hook. I relatively fish shallow water, so I even use like nothing over 2 ounces. You would need an anchor. I don't like anything that, you don't want to use anything that you're going to be mad you lose. Mm-hmm. So we use rocks and weights. I use any type of weird thing that if it gets stuck in the rock, you just cut the rope and, cut your losses. Mm-hmm. You want to have bait. I like Asian crabs, green crabs. Depending on the time of year, a lot of dudes like clams in the spring. So it's just a lot of things. It's pretty simple fishing, but it can't be tough if you're not doing it right.
Mm-hmm. And that's a really good reason for someone to go to the seminar. And Connecticut is not a big state. So we're talking, this is Bridgeport, 706 Howard Ave at Boat Locker. You can find them on Facebook. You can also find Shawn on Facebook at SHAWN BARHAM, and you always have some great picks and great advice on the Facebook too, which a lot of the new people coming in are real thankful for, and so it's a great opportunity to get down there. And I see we also will have a Hobie fishing team member, Bobby Nagy, and he's talking about timing the tides and making the most of your fishing trips, and then you can also RSVP to Bobby, BOBBY, at boatlocker.com. And space is limited because a lot of people want to learn. There's bagels, muffins, and coffee also provided, and it's a great way to spend your Sunday. And we'll even like I said, it's not that far away. Shawn, you're always up here in Eastern Connecticut, so you're always traveling everywhere for fishing.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. If the fish are there, I want to be there with them.
And like we're saying, here in eastern Connecticut is a great fishery for the blackfish as well.
Yep. Yes.
Well, cool. Check them out. April 24th, Boat Locker, with a fishing seminar, and you're going to learn a whole lot about the blackfishing and the timing of the tides. Thanks, Shawn, for joining us.
All right, thank you too, Jesse, man.
All right, we'll see you in Bridgeport.
Yes, sir.
All right, so definitely check out. We're in Connecticut. It's not like out west where you're, traveling major, a lot of time to go city to city. So Bridgeport's really not that far away, especially if you want to learn how to fish, especially for the blackfishing season, which we're in right now in this month of April. All right, I just want to throw in there real quick, too. The barometric pressure is holding at 30.44. That's something I think we'll throw into the forecast, too, because the barometric pressure matters with fish in their bite. So holding steady pretty much throughout the state at around 30. So there it is. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. Eric Harrison on the Water Magazine and kayak angler. He's going to join us to talk about fishing stripers at night. We'll be right back.
Ah, spring. The perfect time of the year to get outside and beautify your lawn and garden for the months ahead. Fleming's Feed is the local go-to for all of your spring needs and great advice from people who know and care. Fleming's Feed is your locally owned and operated store for all of your pet, farm animal, and lawn and garden needs. Fleming's has been serving the folks of southeastern Connecticut and Rhode Island for over 30 years with convenient locations in Preston and Stonington. Fleming's is there to serve you 7 days a week. Come in now for your Scott's 4-step program at just $149.99 after mail-in rebate. Or maybe you prefer the highly recommended Jonathan Green Crabgrass Preventer, $44.99 for 15,000 square feet. It's also the perfect time to lime. Start filling in holes in your lawn and fertilizing those garden beds. Fleming's has all you need. Pelletized lime for $3.99, topsoil $2.79, and your choice of 2 cubic foot bags of potting soil $12.99 each when you buy 3 or more. Plants have arrived too. Fleming's Feed in Preston and Stonington. And remember, folks, shopping locally owned and operated stores will help keep America strong for all of us.
You want more, so you need it done. Front ends, brakes, oil changes, belts and hoses, tires, general maintenance, repairs large and small. Makara Vehicle Services is your one-stop auto shop, but you need more. Accessories like remote starters, fluid film undercoating, rhino linings, truck accessories of all kinds, and window tinting. Makara Vehicle Services is your one-stop auto shop. Want to buy a pre-owned vehicle? We have them for you. Need a dependable shop to service your fleet? That's us. And oh yeah, no matter what you need, you can trust Makara Vehicle Services every step of the way. We're online at makaravehicles.com or come see us at 207 North Main Street in Norwich and find out why we should be your one-stop auto shop. You want more.
Makara Vehicle Services, your one-stop auto shop.
Welcome back to Fishing Today on WICH. With me is Eric Harrison with Team Hobie and Hogy Lures. He's also a writer for On the Water magazine and definitely enjoys fishing at night, especially the stripers. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Thanks, Jesse. Good to be here.
Well, for anglers now that are new to night fishing, and some on kayaks, some on boats, what are some key items that you bring with you for safety before trying it for the first time? What should someone definitely have with them?
Well, it's really about the number one thing that you need is your knowledge. And you got to show up to an area at night that you know. Like, you don't want to go out and fish a bunch of new areas at night. You want to be fishing areas that you're really familiar with, you're comfortable there, so that you're not worried about, rocks, hazards, running into water that you don't understand, like maybe there's some rips and some currents you're not familiar with. So you want to be familiar with the waters. And then you want to have some of the tools that you can use once you get on the water, basic tools like a flashlight. Mm-hmm. And, some people will bring these really bright lights. I always recommend keeping the most dim lights that you can. Operate with a light on your boat, and so that other boats can see you, whether it's a kayak or a regular boat. You just want to have the legal lighting on your boats. And then you want to have a bright light that you can use for safety in case you see someone, coming up on you fast.
Yep.
But other than that, you want to keep the lights to a minimum so that you're you're not shining a flashlight in your face or around your boat, so your night vision improves as you go on. After you're out on the water for a while, your night vision gets better and better.
Yes.
And the way you can ruin that is by turning on a bunch of lights.
Yes, get the spots in your eye, yeah.
Yep.
And where should an angler be looking to target stripers at night? Let's say, for example, they don't have a fish finder, but they want to head out and try their luck. What are the types of places that might bring them the luck?
Yeah, there's a lot of areas that have striped bass at night that are really barren of fish during the daytime. And the reason they're coming up at night are because there's different feeding opportunities at night that don't exist in the daytime. So, you think about it, like a shallow bay, tide's coming up, the flats have warmed up all day long, and that tide comes in the evening. Those fish are riding the tide in. That water's coming over these warm flats. There's so much life there. There's all these little bait fish feeding on the worms and all the other stuff that's there, little shrimps. And the stripers are going to go in there and prowl. And, that's one of the great places to fish at night are shallow, protected bays. These are places that typically don't have much boat traffic. They often don't have a great reputation for fishing because they don't have a lot of fish during the daytime because all the fish are only coming in at night. So back bays are an excellent spot.
And a safe spot.
Another type of area to focus on are kind of rocky, reefy areas. Bass love to eat lobsters and crabs, and they're grubbing in the rocks all the time at night. So, if you can figure out where some good boulder fields are, especially shallow water ones. The shallow water areas are very productive. They have a lot of weeds in them and good cover for lobsters and crabs, and those bass are going to be just working right up in there. I mean, I've caught huge bass in just 2 or 3 feet of water in boulder fields.
Wow.
And boulder fields can be tough at night because you can't see the big rocks.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's where the kayak beats the boat, is that in a kayak I can go in and fish really rocky boulder fields and not have to worry about banging off the rocks, where you can't do that in a boat. In a boat you have to stick to the edges. But you might also look for high current areas, areas where there's strong rolling currents that are going to, bring fish right up against structures. So the fish are going to hide in the structure right next to the powerful current, and at night those rips come alive. They're sucking bait fish through them, and the stripers are in there waiting.
And what side of, let's say you have a couple rocks and there's a current ripping through, do they want to be in the front or the back?
The answer to that is yes. You just, every night it's different.
Yep.
And there are different spots that I fish that have a different setup on them. The front of rips can be excellent. They can have the fish, though. That's where the most actively feeding fish are typically going to be, is on the front side. They're beating the other fish for position, but they're also working harder. So when they're on the front side of the rip, they're actively feeding and they're hungry. And when they're on the back side of the rip, they may be actively feeding and hungry, but they may also be sitting there because they're hiding out from the current. They're hiding right behind a boulder, and they may be hiding because they're looking for stuff drifting past, or they may just be hanging there. And you can't just take one cast near a rock. You got to work it. You got to keep coming back to the same spots. Some of these places are feeding stations too, where you work the front side, you work the back side, and you just keep, you fish it, you go over, work another area, and then you come back to the area where you just were. I mean, up in Boston, where I fish mostly, we have 10-foot tides. So if I'm gone from a spot for an hour, I can come back and I can find 15 more inches of water there. And I know you can't do that in the Sound, but it's still, you've got moving water. The conditions are constantly changing. So when you have moving water, you don't think of it like, your local pond you cast into next to a rock. There's no fish there, and you want to move on to that next rock. Well, with the strong currents, especially at night when the fish tend to be more active and moving around a bit more, you've got the opportunity to just kind of hit the same spots over and over again if there are fish there. And, you catch a few fish, you move on to the next spot, you catch a few there, and then you move back to the first spot. And the fish may have moved back in.
And when they come out, how do you compete with the bait fish? What are some good bait ideas for someone to bring with them?
I fish a lot of plastics,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll tell you the advantage of fishing plastics at night is that I'm fishing lures with a single hook in them. I never use double hook rigs. I pretty much always use a jig head. I'll use like a 1/4 ounce up to a 1.5 ounce jig head. Most of the time I'm using a 1/2 ounce or a 3/4 ounce head. But the advantage of a single hook is that when I get a fish up to the boat, it doesn't take lights or anything to really see what's going on. I can either grab my jig head or grab the fish by the jaw and not have to worry about getting hooked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, plugs are really effective at night. They work really well, and you can catch a lot of fish on them, but most plugs that you fish have at least 2 treble hooks on them, which can be a little spooky at night. So I tend to shy away from things like that. But SP minnows and most swimming plugs are great. Topwater can be fun at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, topwater's a great thing to fish at night when the fish are up top and you just get those explosions on your lure. You tend not to miss as many fish because you set the hook based on watching. You know, most people, when they are visually watching their plug, and they'll set the hook too soon on a topwater, but at night you can't really see that take quite as well, and you often give them just enough time to take the lure, and you actually hook them instead of getting the hit and the miss.
All right, and other than the stripers, I know you're a big striper guy, but you're also a night fishing guy. What other kind of species might someone target at night?
Well, you know, freshwater fishing at night is really underrated. There are a lot of guys who go out and catch really big largemouth bass at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the bass are very active at night. Another fish that I'll go out for occasionally are catfish. You know, catfish are just a fun fish to catch, and most of our rivers around New England have much better quality fish than the lakes and ponds do.
Mm-hmm.
And catfish are just a fun opportunity fish that, you know, you have an hour and a half to go fishing. You go out around sunset and you bounce some bait along some bridges, or you know, around some submerged trees, and you can have a great time just for a quick trip and go out and catch some good quality freshwater fish.
Yeah, I know Connecticut we have a channel cat program for stocking, and it's always a good time to bring a tub of chicken livers out there with you in a treble hook, and
yeah,
that's always a lot of fun. And you know, when you had come down to Three Bells Marina here, and that seminar you did was great, and we learned a lot from it. Do you come around often? What do you have anything scheduled?
I don't have anything scheduled really till the end of the year. I've got a couple seminars around Massachusetts scheduled, but I'm going to be at Plum Island Surfcasters. I think that's actually not even until 2017, and then I think I'm at the Buzzards Bay Anglers Club in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are pretty far out on the calendar, so I'll probably provide more details on Facebook once I get the exact timing down.
And on a regular basis, now you're with On the Water Magazine, onthewatermagazine.com, and that's more regular. How can everyone check you out there?
Yeah, I write the monthly Kayak Corner column for On the Water Magazine for the New England edition.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's out every month, and my column is in the magazine from April to October. So that's a great way to keep up.
Yeah, and then we're right in April, so we'll get the first edition, and as we patiently wait for those stripers to come up from New Jersey and point south.
Yeah, I think we have a really short wait this year. You know, the way that things are panning out, I mean, if you watch the reports coming up, it sounds like they're in Jersey right now, and they're storming north. So, you know, you guys are probably going to have them next week, and we have to wait a couple more weeks for them to make it around the hook of Cape Cod, but they're going to be up here before the end of April, which is unusual for our area.
Is there any canal fishing up there? I mean, is there any that stray? I mean, I know in California I see a lot of pictures of duct fishing where they pull pretty big stripers out of. But as far as, do they have to go around the hook of Cape Cod, or is there other ways?
Oh, they're going through the Cape Cod Canal, and you know, that can be spectacular fishing at times. You know, you get those waves of fish just pushing through there, and it turns into a shooting gallery with the big current, you know, people lining up. And, you know, when you talk about night fishing, of course, that's a classic spot to go out at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people take their plugs and go there at night, but, man, you take some jigs or some big plastics. I like to swim the big plastics around there. You know, you swim a 10-inch or a 13-inch Hobie in that current, and you get some pretty nice fish out of there.
And how about a plug for your area? Let's say someone is coming up to vacation in like Dennisport or Dennis, hanging out in Cape Cod. They want to take some casts for some stripers. What's good? Not to spot burn anything, but in general, what would be good if someone was going to make a visit up there?
Yeah, no, I would recommend if you're going to do some, if you're going to bring plugs with you, I definitely recommend pencils. I mean, it's a great way to cover water, and there's so much water, especially on the Cape, where at night you're fishing some really shallow stuff. Mm-hmm. So, fishing the top water in some spots is just mandatory, so that you're not just hanging up all the time. Some regular swimmers like SP minnows are also a great choice to bring along.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Eric Harrison of Hogy Lures and Team Hobie, also writer on the monthly kayak column for On the Water Magazine, the New England edition, which you can also check out on thewatermagazine.com. And most bait stores and tackle shops have On the Water Magazine all throughout Connecticut, too, so it'll be easy for them to pick up.
Thanks, Jesse. It was great talking to you.
Well, thank you. And we'll definitely see it, and we'll post anything, any kind of seminar coming our way, and hopefully we'll get you back at Three Bells Marina to do some more. And that was a really great seminar. Well, thanks for taking the time.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Hello, Connecticut. Charles Toyota in Norwich has more cars for less money. And they're first again with pre-owned certified Toyota leases from just $99 a month. That's right, lease a certified Corolla, Camry, or Prius for just $99. Half the term and payment of a conventional loan. Only at Charles Toyota for people tired of paying $200, $300, and $400 a month for a car payment. Charles Toyota welcomes all credit and helps everybody rebuild their credit. Apply now at charlestoyota.com, and in just 1 hour, they'll have you driving home in a brand new Toyota. And Charles Toyota's state-of-the-art facility is unbelievable, with a Toyota Express Maintenance Drive-In, no waiting, and a body shop that takes the dent out of accidents. Follow Charles Toyota on Facebook for the deal of the day. charlestoyota.com, Route 32, Norwich, Connecticut, USA.
I have to get to sleep.
Tom had a stressful day, and now he can't shut down at bedtime.
Need sleep.
To fall asleep fast, millions of people turn to Unisom sleep gels. They're non-habit forming and quickly help you sleep soundly so you wake recharged. Tom? Unisom sleep gels. A stressful day deserves a restful night. Use as directed. Active ingredient diphenhydramine hydrochloride.
Hello, America. It's Richard, H&R Block Tax Pro. This year's tax deadline is April 18th. That means 3 extra days to file. So the last minute just got longer. H&R Block offices are open early and late to get you every credit and deduction you deserve. Make an appointment or walk in on the 15th, 16th, 17th, or even 18th. Or drop off your paperwork and be on your way. What are you waiting for, America? Get in here.
Thanks for listening. Join us every Saturday at 8:30 for Fishing Today on your #1 local connection, 1310 WICH.
Well, time has flown. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Check out our Facebook page, Fishing Today on WICH. Also, a podcast of the show is available on Mixcloud, Fishing Today on WICH, and YouTube, Jesse Fishing on WICH. We'll see you next week, everyone. Have a great week, tight lines, and good luck.
Stu Breyer has your lunchtime oldies, along with Swap and Sell, weekdays on WICH Norwich.